What's up, Facebook? Welcome to the second Entrepreneur Boulevard on the road to success with Dan, the Waterman. Live, we will be with Andy here in a couple minutes out in LA. He is a young entrepreneur in the LA area, and I look forward to going live with him. I'm gonna go ahead and invite some people real quick. What's up, Terrence? T-Free in the house. How you doing, brother? Getting some. When you get on here, please invite, if you wouldn't mind, share and invite the stream. If you're watching the replay, I really appreciate you guys. A couple months ago, I was actually like last week, I was scared to go on Facebook Live. I was worried about what people thought about me. Now I don't really give a crap. So, how you doing, man? Deanna, what's going on? My day was awesome, bro. How about you? Getting some stuff done, being productive, I hope. Keep sharing and inviting until we get Andy on here. There we go. There's Andy. Tony, what's going on, man? Richard Trevino.
This is some
what's going on?
Good stuff,
What's
man.
Up? How are you, brother?
Dan the Waterman is in the building.
Absolutely. So why don't you tell us about what you do, who you are, who is Andy, and what do you do?
Well, what I do is I am an event producer and I am a real estate investor. I'm getting my feet wet in real estate, and I'm getting my feet wet in producing events. My background stems from the wireless industry. That's where I first started in the wireless industry. I had a few cell phone stores. I left that last year to start doing event producing and real estate investing.
Awesome. Hey, Blake, how's it going, man? Make sure you share and invite, please. Terrence, Richard, share and invite. So how long you been doing what you've been doing? I know you were in the wireless industry before. What made you choose what you were doing, and how long you been doing it?
I was in the wireless industry for about 4 years, and I left the wireless industry knowing that there was more for me. I felt the wireless industry was I was done with it. You know, it was time for me to move on and grow as an individual, and that's why I left the wireless industry. And I knew that there was something better for me in California because I was originally raised in Rhode Island. I knew that there was something better for me in California, and that's why I moved to Cali. And that's how I started.
How long ago were you out there?
What was your question?
How long ago did you move out there?
I moved in Cali. It's been a year and a half now. I moved out here April of last year, or March of last year. So it's been about a year and a half. And I like it, man, because it's sunny out here. It's no snow.
I hear you, bro. You see that? Sunny right there, too.
Yeah, man. You know, especially you being from Jersey, that the snow can kind of get depressing if you're around it too much.
Yep. I don't miss it at all. I don't miss cold weather. I mean,
right.
It's I think it was 37 one time this year, and I'm okay with it not being cold anymore. I like it out here.
30 in
what's up, Jeff? How are you?
30 in Florida?
Yeah, once this year was 30. No more. I mean, it's in the 90s now. It is 95 degrees outside right now. So
shoot,
it's warm a little bit.
I have my car. It's 82 degrees.
Perfect. But there's no humidity out there. It rains here. After it rains, you can see the steam coming up from the road. That's how hot it gets out here. So
that's actually warm. One thing I make a comment on. That's why I like Cali versus Florida. When I'm in Florida, man, my skin, I get darker. I get black. Right. But in Cali, and I of the humidity. When I'm in Cali, I'm fine, even though it's hot. I think it is because of the humidity.
So Terrence asked, why did you choose to get into event planning? What made you want to do that?
I joined the Les Brown Institute. Shout out to the Les Brown Institute. I joined the Les Brown Institute, and I had an opportunity to go on the road with the Les Brown Institute. And part of being on the road is doing events and selling tickets to events and getting people into the seats and learning the what goes on in the background of these events. And my mentor, Eric Stoller, who taught me how to put on events and the background of it, he motivated me to do my first event. So this year I'm putting on my first event in LA, September 29th, for top sales professionals and business owners.
Awesome. You want to share some of the people that are going to be speaking?
Some of the people that are going to be speaking, of course, is Eric Stoller, president of the Les Brown Institute, Charlie Chena, the vice president of sales for Lightspeed VT, AJ Adams, the CEO of Heart and Social, Omar Periu, Sorosco, and a few more other people, a few more other cats. Hey, Terrence.
Hey, man. Joshua, how you guys doing?
Joshua's in the building.
What made you choose to get into real estate and event planning? Was there something specific that made you choose to want to do that?
Event planning, you can touch a lot of people, and I'm not talking about physically. Why I wanted to move to California was to figure out a platform where I can get in front of a lot of people to inspire them and motivate them and to teach them the principles of being the real version of yourself. Back when I did the cell phone industry, I only had to work with my employees, which at my peak I had 14 employees, and I realized that a lot of them didn't care about progression. They didn't care about being better. So I wanted to get in front of people who cared about themselves enough that they want to exceed their potential. And I knew event producing, I can get in touch with those people and put them all in a room and be able to inspire them and motivate them and things like that. That's why I got into event producing. And the real estate, the point of real estate is to generate income, passive income.
Right.
So that was what I was.
So tell us a little bit about the real estate you want to get into and how you plan on doing that.
Once again, I'm still getting my feet wet in both of these areas, in real estate investing and the event producing. This is my first event. And in real estate investing, I have a mentor that is teaching me how to get properties, how to get them cheap, how much money to invest in them, and how to find investors to purchase them off you, or how to get buyers for the property. Now, what I'm learning in real estate is how to actually go and get the property. And now we're working on some properties in Jacksonville, Florida. And next thing now that I'm working on is finding investors for these properties. So I'm slowly but surely learning all this information in real estate.
Awesome. How old are you?
I'm 22, man.
How about that? So 22 years old. He's going to be a multi-millionaire within the next couple years because he's a hustler. He's a 10Xer. He's ready to go make it happen. So there's no excuses for anybody that's 22. So tell us, what kind of background did you come from? Were you in like a nice area, not so nice area? Tell us about that.
Man, I didn't know. The thing is, I didn't know that I came from a bad area. I thought my area was good. And it wasn't until I started traveling to find out different types of areas that my area wasn't so great. Like when you find out in my area that there's a shooting or someone's doing drugs, it's not a surprise. It's kind of like, hey, is it my friend? That's the question that I asked myself. Is it my friend? And I realized it was a bad area. It wasn't so nice. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. My mom, my dad, they gave me my necessities. They gave me a place to sleep and food to eat, but that was it. All the extra stuff, I had to work hard, and that's what got me into entrepreneurship, is realizing that I wanted things that my friends had that I didn't have, and my parents weren't going to give it to me. I had to work on it myself.
Good, man. Like what? What are some of the things you want?
I remember Nike, what is it? Air Ones? What is it? Nike. It was these old sneakers that were white and black. They only really came in two colors, and then there was some different variations. But it was some Nike kicks, and I asked my dad, "Can you get them for me?" And he was like, yeah. And he never got them for me. And I was like, man, if I want it, I have to go get it, figure out how I'm going to get it. And I started off with shoveling snow and doing lemonade stands and raking leaves to get that money.
Awesome, man. Starting young, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why when we were talking about your little one, your 6-year-old, how he's starting off young, man, that's smart
Yep.
because he's going to realize that if I want something, I got to go get it, and I know how to get it. It starts off with a quarter, ends up being 1,000, then it's going to be millions, and then it's on and on and
Yep.
on and on after that.
So my 6-year-old, so you guys know what he's talking about, he actually, with him and obviously my wife's help, he can't drive yet. They go to bookstores, used bookstores, thrift shops, yard sales, and they buy books, and they sell them on his Facebook page called Twice Upon a Bookshelf, because he named it. Somebody else, it goes from one bookshelf to another, so it's twice, perfect name, right? So he's made $400 or $500 in a month before, so, and he's 6. So he's starting young. You know, there's no excuses. I mean, Andy's only 22, and he's got millionaire mindset already. He's no excuses. So what does your day typically look like from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep? What are you doing throughout the day?
A good day will look like this. I'll wake up early in the morning, wake up about 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I'm starting getting my mind ready. And I do this thing called PMA, the Positive Mental Attitude, which is just listening to motivational speakers, I start believing that I can do the things that I want to do in my life. I then go to the gym, and I'll go to the gym for about 45 minutes. I'll have a watch on, and it'll count my time that I'm at the gym. Go there for 45 minutes. Go back home, shower, put on my clothes, which is usually just a button up and some pants, and I will go to the office that I work in Woodland Hills. I would work there all day. Then on a Tuesday or Thursday, I would go down to Bible study, and after Bible study, I would go to the gym, end off my day at the gym, come home about 10 o'clock, do it all over again the next day.
So who are the people that you listen to in the morning?
I listen to a lot of Les. Les is more of a calm guy, but when I know I need to do some big stuff, I listen to Eric Thomas.
So tell us about what you've learned from these guys and what kind of things that you've learned, let's just say in the last week or two, that you've implemented in your daily activity.
From Les, although he's more of a momentum guy, Les is more about building momentum, and Eric is more about having consistency. Although they're very similar, building momentum is starting from nothing and then continually going. Consistency is doing what you already do day after day after day after day. And what I've learned in the success journey is that you have to have both. You have to be consistent, and when you fall off, you have to have that start of momentum and build that momentum. So what I've learned from them is just doing the things that I want to do on a repetitive basis.
Yep.
This happened in the last 14 days.
Awesome. It's all about action. You know, everybody can talk about what you do, but unless you go and do it on a daily basis, you get in that routine and you have massive action, none of it makes sense. None of it matters. So that's awesome that you have a routine. Not many people do. So in business so far, what would you say the most satisfying moment of your professional career has been so far?
The most satisfying moment, you know, many would say it would be an achievement, but one of the most satisfying moments is when I went broke. I had, I don't know, maybe like 10 employees at the time, and I did some stupid stuff for money. I came into a lot of money and I didn't know how to handle it, and I started spending unresponsible. And although I learned from my mistakes and I will definitely not do it again, but I went broke and I had these employees that were depending on me for their paychecks and I couldn't make payroll. And I'm crying and I'm going through it. And then there was something that kicked in. One of my employees had a daughter, and I thought about her daughter not being able to eat, her daughter not having diapers. And I remember that employee came to me saying, Andy, I need to get paid. Like I need to buy diapers and stuff. And something in me kicked in, and I literally kicked into overdrive, and I went to the streets and I started slinging phones like out of my trunk. And I made more money than my stores did because I was just hungry. And that was one of the satisfying moments, man. Going from literally I wouldn't say nothing to something, but going from 0 to 100 real quick.
That's
So
awesome, bro. That's awesome. So how old were you when you had a couple of phone stores?
I started when I was 19. No, I started maybe 18 and a half, 19, 2014. I started in 2014, and I closed it last March or last April.
To move
Last
out to LA.
to move out to LA. And the reason I closed it, man, is because although I was making a lot of money from the cell phone store, what I learned was there's different levels to money, man.
Yep.
Different. So when I was an employee, $700 was a lot of money to me. So when I saw my first $10,000 or my first $20,000, $30,000, it was kind of like, whoa, this is all my money. And then not realizing there's difference between business money and personal money, and there's different levels of money in business. You have $1 million companies, you have $1 billion companies, and you have a couple $100,000 companies, and you also have companies that only generate 1,000 a week and still
Yep.
profitable. So I learned my
I hope
mistakes.
I hope you guys are taking notes. This guy's sharp. He knows what he's talking about. He's only 22, but he knows. He's already been there. He's owned cell phone stores. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, we had 4 cell phone stores, and I realized there was a point in time I wrote something called Values of Toil, and the values of toil is what makes you happy. So if you have my book, No More Average, and Dan, I want to send this out to you. So brother, I'm gonna give you the address. I want to send the book out to you. But in chapter 8, there's Values of Toil. There was some time that I wrote a Values of Toil list, and I realized that the cell phone store wasn't really what I wanted to do. It's what I knew and what I was comfortable with, but that's not what I wanted to do. And that's when, after writing my Values of Toil list, I then made the decision that I'm moving to California and closing this business. So it took me about 85 days to close the business.
So did you close it? Did you sell it? What did you do?
I was 21, man, and I didn't know you could actually sell a business, dude. Truth be told, I didn't know you could sell a business because this business was my baby, so I thought it had to go with me wherever I go. I didn't really know you could
Right.
sell the company until it was too late.
It happens. It happens. So at 22, you've owned multiple cell phone stores. You've written a book. You decided to transform your whole life and move 3,000 miles away from where you were raised, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
When you put it like that, man, you see, I never looked at it like that. And I was talking to Greg Walker yesterday, and we were talking about giving credit to ourselves, and I never gave myself that credit because when you put it like that, it makes it sound bigger than it actually is in my head. It's kind of like, man, I owned a couple phone stores. Like everybody does that, right? But
No.
no, it doesn't.
In our community, everybody does that. But in the normal community, no. You're not normal. We're not normal.
Right? We're not average, man.
Right.
But then I also realized like we're the ones who really make run the world, because when you open up your company, that company that we were talking about, and it's none of my business to tell everyone, but when you open up that company, it's going to affect a lot of people, and that's how we run the world.
Yep, absolutely.
I've sold thousands of phones, not realizing how many people I've affected, how many people that I put in communication because of my business.
Thanks, Mindy. It's a great interview to Andy. Doing an awesome job, man. Awesome. So you'll be up on stage talking in a lot of your events that you're planning, I'm sure. You need to. So why don't you tell us about the story from yesterday at the airport and the cop?
Right. Yesterday, Greg Walker, the big dreamer, top motivational speaker, amazing man, amazing fella, and a friend and mentor of mine, he texted me. He's originally from Ohio, and he texted me that he's coming to LA. He texts me what terminal he's in, and I go to LAX airport. When I get there, I lock my car door, leave my car running, get out of my car, lock it, run inside, and I'm like, Greg, what's going on? I'm talking to him for a few moments. As I'm talking to him, at the corner of my eye, I see a helmet hovering over my vehicle, and I realize that it's a cop writing me a ticket. So I say, Greg, hold on, and I run outside. I get to the car, and and I see the officer about right here. And I said, officer, I was just in there talking to top motivational speaker, Greg Walker. And he says, motivational speaker? I like motivational speakers. I actually listen to them in my radio. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You like motivational speakers? Man, I got something for you. I'm an upcoming motivational speaker. You know, I do speak a lot about being the best version of yourself. And I have something for you, officer. This book, No More Average. I want to share some knowledge with you. This book is about overcoming an average life and living as a real you. Take a look at it. As he's doing that, he takes his ticket book and he puts it back into his motorcycle and doesn't give me a ticket. So then I take a picture with him, and I got myself out of a ticket, and I shared some knowledge with this man.
That's awesome. Someone has to be sold. I think he got sold on that opportunity.
Dude, and then he gave me his business card. He said Los Angeles Police, Airport Police. So that was kind of...
So you want to talk about self-made millionaires? I don't know if you guys know who Ahmad is, who just commented, but he grew up in a really rough situation and made the best out of it and completely changed him and his family life. So hopefully he'll be doing a live interview with me too. What's up, Mike Chavez? How's it going, bro? So if you were doing this interview, what would you ask yourself?
If I was doing this interview, I would ask myself, why do you do what you do? I think that's a good question. Why is it that you do? Why did you move away from your family and friends? Why did you open up these businesses? Why do you feel like you need to go somewhere to do something bigger? Why do you do what you do?
Okay. So you got to answer it now. You asked yourself the question. You got to answer it.
I do it for two reasons, man. I do it, one, for my family. My family has gone through some tough times, and I do it to get them out of those tough times. They deserve it. They deserve it. I'm talking about my immediate family, which is my little brother, Alan, my mom, and my father. And I do it for the people who are just like me, who just believe that they're not an average individual, but they're surrounded by averageness, them down. And I do it for them to let them know that it's possible. All that matters is that it's possible and to believe in yourself. And a lot of people don't get the message. So that's the message that I want to share with a lot of people. And I know in order for me to share message, I have to do it in as many platforms as possible. All I care about is you knowing that it's possible, that you don't have to be average. And that's why I wrote this book, man, No More Average.
No More Average. I like it. I look forward to reading it. So where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 20 years? What are your goals?
I see myself still living in California. However, I see myself traveling across the world, sharing that message of not living an average life, overcoming adversity, overcoming averageness, and overcoming the doubt that you may have in yourself that the world kind of puts on you. So it's really sharing my message in different platforms. Maybe movies, maybe TV shows, maybe online videos, different books, tapes. Well, it's not tapes anymore. MP3s, and you know, whatever medium that I can get you to understand that message, and definitely more events that can reach different crowds. You know, I want to reach the younger crowds, my generation, and even people under my generation. And I've realized that I can't get to them in an MP3. I can't get to them in a book. I can't. So I got to put on events. And one of the events I'm putting on is a concert. But I'm gonna keep quiet on that.
Okay. When it gets closer to launching it, you got to let us know what's up.
Sure, I'm gonna put on. It's gonna be a concert, but there's gonna be a motivational aspect and there's gonna be a message behind it. So you go to a rap concert and you're gonna expect a whole bunch of rappers and drugs, but although there's gonna be rappers there, there's gonna be a serious underlying message that's gonna tweak the mindset of our youth, of the generation that's under me. I never saw that, and I wish when I was 16 years old I would have saw something like that to say I can connect with this rapper, but also the message that's behind it.
It's important, man. The youth that we have right now in our world are in trouble, and it's people like you that are going to make a difference in order to change them.
I believe
that's awesome. What
was the question?
What kind of advice would you give to someone that's in your age group, the millennial generation?
Choose your friends wisely, man. That's some serious. Choose your friends wisely. If your friend, and don't believe that you can handle it, or your friends do some bad stuff and hey, I'm not part of it, because you'll be guilty by association. I've seen people go to jail just because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, doing a lot of time. Choose your friends wisely. And if you choose your friends wisely, everything that you want will come to you if you're in the right circle. You want to lose weight? Hang out with a lot of people who are losing weight. I saw Kyle J. Hutchinson in the building he joined earlier, and Kyle J. Hutchinson, for example, he's from my hometown. And when I was struggling and I wanted to lose weight, he was going to the gym all the time. And I started hanging out with Kyle, and I started slimming down. It was natural. So you want to be a rapper? Hang out with rappers. You want to be a good guy? Hang out with the good guys. You want to be a motivational speaker? Hang out with motivational speakers, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure you guys get the message.
Yep. You are who you hang out with. 100% correct.
Dominic, the book,
Dominic wants to know if your book is available on Amazon.
it is available on Amazon. NoMoreAverageBook.com. If you go to NoMoreAverageBook.com and you click autograph signed copy, I'll actually get the memo, and I'll send you an autographed copy. But if you buy it from Amazon, Amazon ships it out from their warehouse. So if you want a signed book, go to NoMoreAverageBook.com. NoMoreAverageBook.com.
You guys can connect on too. Dominic's a friend of mine locally, so take care of him.
Anybody in here that has a question for me or for Dan the Waterman, I would definitely appreciate you guys ask the question in the comments. But Dan, did you have another question?
Yeah. So another question. We talked about this briefly beforehand, but if you were to be able to spend time or get advice from anybody in history, now or in the past, who would it be?
It's gonna be Napoleon Hill and Edward C. Barnes from Think and Grow Rich. And Edward C. Barnes, if you don't know the story, pretty much he cut all bridges. He burned all bridges to work for Thomas Edison, and he ended up working for Thomas Edison. And he actually partnered up with him. He didn't work for him. He partnered up with him. And I would talk to these individuals, and the reason why is to understand the mindset of cutting off all your ties, everything just for one desire. It's one thing to talk about it, it's one thing to read it, but it's one thing to hear from the horse's mouth.
What about Napoleon Hill?
Napoleon Hill learned the different information that he didn't put in the book. When you write a book, and many individuals this happens to, when they write a book, they put as much information as they know as they can remember at the time, or that they took notes, and then after the book is published, they're like, shoot, I should have added this. That's happened in my book. There's a great amount of information in my book, but there's also some stuff that is gonna have to wait for the next book because I didn't put it in the first one. And Napoleon Hill, I'm sure he has a lot of information that he didn't put in his book.
So Tori in South Carolina says, what's the best way to gain exposure as a new author and speaker?
So Tori, what I've learned, man, is to do this interviews with different people. Now what happens is there's friends on my list that don't know who Dan the Waterman is, and because I shared the video, Dan gets exposure. And now because Dan shares the video, I get exposure, and we build together. That's what I.
And since me and you connected on Facebook, I'm seeing you all over the place. So
is that so?
Absolutely, man. That's definitely a good thing. So, anybody else have any questions for Andy while we have him on live?
Any questions? And I like the raw questions. I like the questions that are so deep that people are like, man, I don't know if I should ask this question. I'm talking about the raw dog diggity questions. NoMoreAverageBook.com, Terrence. NoMoreAverageBook.com.
So what makes you? What makes you tick? What qualities do you have that nobody else has that makes you be able to do what you do?
My ability to take action in a short amount of time.
Okay. How are you able to do that?
I think that's what allowed so many things to happen in my life at such a young age, is that I take action in such a short amount of time. And the way that I do it is I put all my faith in God, man. I put all
Amen.
my, if I believe that God wants me to go in a direction, I don't, like this event, for example, I've never done this type of event, and usually the route that many would take is, let me do a 20-person event, let me do a 40-person event, and then build from there. And I'm just going all in and saying, all right, let's do the 500-person event. Let's just go big, and have that belief that God will provide at the right time.
Where's that event going to be at?
Los Angeles, the Marriott Los Angeles, or Los Angeles Marriott, over by LAX.
Okay. You have dates yet?
September 29th, 2017. September, mark the calendars, guys. September 29th, 2017. This event is for sales professionals and business owners, and anyone looking to connect with sales professionals and business owners. If you have a solution for a sales professional or a business owner that do sales, this event's for you.
There you go. So mark your calendars. Make sure you're there. I look forward to hearing all about it and try to get out there as well. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out to either myself or Andy. You have anything else to add?
Dominic asked a question, and the question was, since you sold since you sold cell phones, did you start selling anything else? After I left the cell phone company, I kind of went on a mission to find different industries and different entrepreneurs to learn from last year. That was the majority of the time that I spent last year. And I started selling copiers for Kyocera. And what I learned in selling copiers is how to deal with rejection, because a lot of people don't need a copier, don't want a copier, but they want a nice guy to walk in. So I learned how to deal with that rejection of, I don't want a copier, but I'm happy that you came in. And you would literally, in selling copy machines, you literally go through 1,000 doors in a month, which is 50 doors for every working day, and you'll sell 2 copiers. So it's a lot of rejection, and that's what I learned in that.
99.8% rejection.
Rejection. But it's worth it, because the deals in the copy machines, it's big deals for these companies, and it ends up being worth it. But I learned how to deal with that rejection. I will definitely connect with the both of you regarding my new book, Success Moments. Tori, I'm definitely up for it. Matt asked, what did you do to take your good ideas from just ideas to actually execution or beginning action on those ideas? Now, Matt, what I did was, like how many others would do, is I would ask people like Dan, who are entrepreneurs or who have the entrepreneur mind, and ask them, what do you think about this idea? And I would find for the approval of it. But what I learned by doing that it's not their idea, it's yours. It's my idea. So if I really believed in my idea, like I really believed in it, just do it. Just do it. And you don't have to find out what the finished product looks like. When I moved
Just
to California,
start.
yeah, just start. When I moved to
Oh,
California,
Matt, no procrastination. Just go. Just
just
do it.
go. Then I want to tell you, when I moved to California, I didn't know where I was going to live, where I was going to work. All I did was Google LA. And I Googled LA from the airport. I got to LA, and now I was like, what do I do now? And then that's how I started, meeting people, finding about the apartment process. And that's where I got my first apartment. Then I found work, then so on and so forth.
Tori said, you said after 5 or 10 years you see yourself traveling more. What other types of businesses or business sectors would challenge you to enter into or be part of? Meaning, what's the one thing that you want to do but you see as a challenge?
Right now, it is going through the process and going through the development process. But I want to get in front of a larger audience. What other types of businesses or business sectors would challenge you to enter or be part of? Man, it would have to be the large corporations like AT&T, Procter and Gamble, and these larger corporations for me to go speak to their business people. And the reason why is because many people look at me as not too young, but you're kind of still young, Andy. Like, what have you done that I want to hear your message? When I tell them stories, or I've generated X amount of dollars, they don't really care. They want either the person that's 15 or under, or they want the person that's 35 or older. So because I'm still young, but I'm still smack dab in the middle, they kind of, hey man, you're young, but you're not that young. You're not something that's real cute. So that's what's my biggest challenge. So I really need to do more and have more of that credibility in the marketplace to go into these big companies. So like if Dan sees me more, if these companies see me more and believe in my product and believe in my the vision that I have to help other people understand that they're not average, then I'll get into those marketplaces. But until then, I need your help, Tori. I need your help, Matt, Dominic, Josh, Terrence, to share these messages to help put that message out there of average is over. Like there's no more average, but just do you and be the best version of yourself.
Love it. Love it. Anything else you want to add before we get off? It's been an awesome interview.
What the book says, man, before you can save anyone else from average, you must be saved. The real you screaming save yourself. Your life's responsibility depends on one choice, whether you save yourself and not be average or not save yourself and be average. No more average. Let's move forward with life. No more average.
Boom. That's it.
Boom.
No more average. Thank you,
more.
guys. If you need anything from Andy, you want to reach out to him, get those dates or where it's gonna be at. Make sure you reach out to him. If you have any questions about your water issues, call Dan the Waterman. It's been an awesome interview. I'll talk to you soon.
I want to share something with the people, Dan.
Go ahead.
I talked to Dan about my water situation in my house in LA, and Dan knows his stuff. When it comes to water, there's so much stuff that I did not know, and Dan knows his stuff. So if you have a question about water, talk to Dan. If you're even thinking about upgrading your water treatment system, talk to Dan. He is the man. Talk to Dan.
I appreciate that. Dan the Waterman.
Dan the Waterman. I love it. You know, when you call me, that's what actually shows up, Dan the Waterman.
Does it?
That's what it says, man. Because that's a cool slogan, man. Dan the Waterman.
Yep, that's what I do. No more average. Own you, man. That's why I'm Dan the Waterman. See, it says it right there. Dan the Waterman.
Shoot. Let the world know, man. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm proud to see what your kids are going to be doing. Your company, the company that we spoke about is going to be doing. I want to see that. I can't wait.
I know, me neither. I can't wait to see you grow, too. I mean, you're killing it out there, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
We're on a mission, brother. I look forward to talking more.
Have a good one.
Likewise.